Good morning, all my YouTube people. I mean, it truly is morning because it's actually 9:10 a.m. on my day off, which is needless to say early for me to be up on a day off. Anyway, I decided I wanted to do a rant today. I haven't done a rant for a little while. Um, I recently saw that movie, A Million Ways to Die in the West, and I kind of looked at the reviews for this movie, and they're not the best. I mean, they're about midway, a little less than midway, and I totally don't get that because that was one of the funniest movies I've seen in like ever, really. And I think that one of the things that people tend to give it a hard time about is its use of more modern language. But really, what's the big deal there? I mean, it was a hilariously funny movie. Seth MacFarlane was a surprisingly good. He's actually a very good actor. Um, he was really good in that. Uh, there were moments between Seth MacFarlane and Charlize Theron in this movie where Seth MacFarlane says something and um, Charlize Theron's laughing and she's like laughing. She's like really laughing, like almost like they kind of ad-libbed a lot of stuff, and you do get that feeling about a few things, that there's some ad-libbing going on, and she genuinely thought it was funny. Um, so a lot of times she's like just completely laughing her ass off and just enjoying being in the movie. Um, but but honestly, I think the guy who made that movie was Neil Patrick Harris. I haven't been as big a fan since he came out. Um, I know that sounds weird, but it's just he. What I don't like about Neil Patrick Harris is about how everybody's like, "Oh, look, he's so cool! Like, he adopted kids and stuff like that." Well, realistically, like, the only reason he probably was allowed to adopt children is because he's wealthy and a celebrity and stuff like that. Um, I know a few male gay couples who have tried to adopt children, and just it hasn't been easy or really gone well. So um, I don't get what all the hype is. He's just kind of another gay dude. But as an actor, he's pretty funny because he can almost play anything. But the thing he plays really well is a dick, and he was a complete like dick in this movie. Um, there's kind of running gag through the movie where uh, Neil's always making fun of Seth MacFarlane being a sheep farmer, and he's always like saying stuff like, "Well, you're a sheep farmer," or is business bad? He's always just like poking the bear and rattling the cage, and does a really good job at it. Uh, Most of the acting in the movie was fairly good. The movie was really funny. Liam Neeson played a great bad guy. Uh, Now, I will say that it was very much like watching a really long episode of The Family Guy that was set as a Western. Uh, he even does the cutaways like that The Family Guy does. Not when they're remembering something, but like the scene will happen and then they'll flash to a couple guys like sitting over in the corner, uh, and then back to the action. He does that a lot. Um, The movie even opens with a classic credits at the beginning sort of sequence, running through like Arizona, the Arizona desert. So there's some really classic sort of Western elements to it. But does everybody have a Southern accent? No. In fact, I think that probably back then people spoke a little more normally than they make it seem in most Westerns. It's just moderned up a little bit, because I guess it makes the humor easier, and aside from Mila Kunis, most of the crew is kind of Family Guy fare or Ted fare. See, that's the other thing is, when I saw Ted, I felt kind of the same way. Like, this is like one of the funniest movies that I've ever seen. Like, Seth MacFarlane makes a good comedy, and I think part of that is because he's willing to just insult everybody. He's gonna just shake a stick at everything, and himself even a lot. His character was kind of pathetic in A Million Ways to Die, and I don't remember if he had a cameo in Ted or anything like that. But if you think about Ted, it's essentially Stewie has grown up, right? And decided he's not homosexual or British, but still has Rupert. So yeah, two really funny movies from MacFarlane in almost just as many years when you think about it. And I kind of can understand why he has sort of moved to wanting to do movies. I mean, the Family Guy, in his opinion, has already gone too long. The Cleveland show got canceled. American Dad and The Family Guy are airing, just 1 or 2 episodes at a time, and then they take a break. So MacFarlane's had time to sort of do stuff. I'm not sure when he found time to film this movie. This is a pretty long one. The budget also really looked good. I think the sets and stuff were really nice. I mean, it essentially is a Western. It looks good. It looks good as a Western. The villain is very Western. A lot of the people in it are very Western, but I guess Seth MacFarlane's character is the guy who sort of doesn't fit in. He is from a different state, but lives in Arizona because of his parents, and they needed his help with something. I think is how the story in the movie goes. So. He's kind of there just looking out for his family as best he can. They don't get along or anything, but he's trying to take care of them and do a lot of the heavy work, and just isn't very good at it. He's not very productive. I wouldn't necessarily say he's lazy. He just isn't interested in being a sheep farmer, really. And you can understand that. He also just talks too much. I think he tries to appeal to people's reason when people in that society weren't always reasonable, and certainly where he's living now, a lot of people are just absolutely crazy. What else can I say about the movie? I like to throw some negatives in there if I can. I mean, I don't like to just pander on about how great a movie was. Most movies have some issues these days. Well, there were a couple of times where maybe it did get a little too modern. In language, at least, and I thought that worked, but I can see people being weird about it, especially if they're really wanting to see a funny Western. Uh, it's more like you want to go see this movie if you want to see a comedy that's sort of Western based, or you want to see a really funny movie and you don't really care about the setting. That'd be good too. Um, but definitely worth a rental. Have a few beers or whatever other stuff you enjoy, and check the movie out. I'm sure you'll laugh your ass off if you're just open-minded about it. The other thing is, Seth MacFarlane looks pretty young for being like 50 something. He's in really good shape still. Um, I don't see myself being as healthy as he is at his age. At least I think he's in his 50s. I mean, I'm talking out my ass a little bit there, so now I have to check it out real quick just to be sure. But that's what Wikipedia is for. A lot of research has gone to show that Wikipedia is right more often than it's wrong, from what I understand. Well, my computer's being weird, probably because I'm recording stuff for you guys. So, he's not the youngest guy in the world, and it's impressive that he's stayed in good condition. I'm sure the guy drinks. I mean, look at Brian. I'm going to be interested to see what he sort of comes up with. I'm not sure how involved he is in the Family Guy writing anymore, or whether he's taking on like less production duties or what have you to sort of like work on these projects, or just because he's kind of burnt out on doing all that. I've been toying with the idea for a TV show with a friend of mine for a few years now. And doing various writing on it and music and voice work and stuff like that. And life's just kind of gotten in the way for us, and sort of we haven't had. And I moved away like 9 hours, so we're farther apart now and can't collaborate as easily. And I've kind of noticed that I've sort of gotten burnt out on the project a little bit. I've kind of had to stop working on it, because it's just taken up a lot of my life and sort of not really gone where I would like it to go yet. And that's that can be kind of a difficult thing to deal with. But sometimes you just have to like take a little break and then just really get back into it. In fact, I might do some work on the show today. Maybe get some music down or something like that. I have allergies, and I notice I tend to cough in the morning. Anyway, it'd be cool if any of you guys out there who have seen the movie, if you would just sort of throw your 2 cents in on it. What did you think about it? Did it make you laugh? Have you watched it again? I watched it again like the next day, and I've watched pieces of it again. So I thoroughly enjoyed the laugh. Anyway, nice getting back in touch with you guys. Goemonronin, signing off.